two rye whiskeys were just recently released that we are hopeful are absolutely delicious. On the right is a Sagamore 10-year rye from the Reserve series. On the left, the absolutely brand new Elijah Craig barrel proof rye A925 batch. And the best part of these two, they are both around $70, $75. What a great price point. So I'm gonna let you know two things today. First, are these any good? Just because they come at a good price for good age doesn't mean that they have to be good. And second, and most importantly, if you could just buy one, if you wanna buy the best new rye, which one should you get? I'll let you know right now.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Whiskey. My name is David. And the Sagamore 10-year rye is a follow-up in the Reserve series that saw the 8-year 2 years ago, and of course the 9-year rye last year. And both of those were fantastic. They were well reviewed by a lot of people, and their price point around $60, $65 was a big hit. Now the 10-year has a lot of hype, but ryes are kind of tricky, right? Just because it has a double-digit age statement doesn't mean it's necessarily better. I mean, the best example of that was the Knob Creek 10-year rye. When we saw that, we're like, oh my God, that's an upgrade. We're all gonna love it. And we drank it and it wasn't that good. And so a lot of people stopped drinking that. But I'm hoping that Sagamore did a better job and this is actually a better rye whiskey than last year. Now, this comes in at 110.8 proof and it is distilled in Indiana, so it is 10-year MGP rye whiskey. And on the left, we have the Elijah Craig barrel proof rye, the new A925 batch. Now, this one is a follow-up to their barrel proof bourbons that debuted in around 2012 that comes with 3 batches every year. Now, will the ryes also do 3 batches starting next year? We don't know. We kind of hope so, but actually, you know what? Maybe we don't. Maybe we only want 1 or 2, and hopefully with the age and the proof being higher or better, that they just come up with less batches, but better rye whiskeys. But we'll see how that goes. Now, this one has some incredible stats, right? The age, 12 years, 3 months. That's pretty high age for a rye, especially at $70 price point. And the proof, it's actually 108 proof, which is a little bit lower than the Sagamore rye. But just because it's lower proof doesn't mean it's not gonna taste as good. Well, I could talk all day about these, but that's not gonna answer any of your questions. So no more talking, let's get drinking. Opening ceremonies. Oh. All right, so these have been opening up for about 10 minutes and I cannot wait any longer. I am super excited for these because 2025 has really been the year of the ryes. And these two hopefully will put an exclamation point to that because these two are wonderful, especially coming at around 70 bucks. Oh my God, I might have to start drinking only ryes. But let's find out right now. First, let's start with the Sagamore 10-year rye. All right, let's get to it. First, the nose. Wow. Okay. So I've seen some reviews that compare this to Thomas H. Handy. And I was like, you know what? That's, I don't want to say impossible, but how can that be? And then I took a whiff. That candied orange note, that absolutely reminds me of a Thomas H. Handy. Wow. But let's hope the nose follows up with the palate, because if the palate is the same, ooh, we might have the whiskey of the year. All right, cheers, guys. Oh my goodness. Whew. All right, so this is my initial summary of the first couple of sips. It's gonna be spicy tropical juice. What the hell does that mean? Well, I get a lot of fruit, right? Peach, mango, those type of just juicy, fruity, sweet fruits, but I also get that, I mean, for lack of a better term, that cinnamon peppery spice as well. So if you took some cinnamon, put it in some tropical juice and drink it with a lot of alcohol, this would kind of mimic that type of taste. And to get it from just wood and white dog, well, you know what? That's pretty awesome. But on the third and fourth sip, you do get a lot more oak, a lot more darkness, especially in the back and on the finish. You do get that darker nose, the darker spice, the darker sweetness. it does show its age in the finish, which I absolutely like. I love the sweetness in the front, and then a little bit more of the bitterness, the oakiness, and the darkness in the back. And this kind of has it all, which is really cool, especially for a rye whiskey. The funny thing about this one is, as you drink more and more of it, you get more and more of the spice. Usually it's the other way around, right? You get an initial burst of spice, then on the third and fourth sips, you kind of get used to it and you get the sweetness and the oak. This one, I got the sweetness and oak in the first part, but then it gets spicier and spicier as you drink it, which, again, depending on what you like, this actually keeps it very interesting. And then you get more of the sweetness at the end. Wow. You know what? Very fun, very good rye whiskey. Now let's move on to the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Rye. Now, I'm really interested in this because I really don't like the regular Elijah Craig rye, the 94 proof rye, I believe. It's a good, decent mixer, but other than that, it's not very good when I have it neat. And so I haven't drank, or I don't even think I have one of those bottles, but I definitely haven't drank one neat in years. And so if the barrel proof can change my mind, that would be wonderful. So let's first start with the nose. The nose is actually very bourbony, right? You get a lot of the caramel and brown sugar right up front. I think if I had this blind, as in if I nosed it blind, I would never guess it's a rye. But it does have a hint of like a green apple hint at the end, but yeah, it's a very sweet rye on the nose. Hopefully it's a very sweet rye in the palate. So let's get right to it. Cheers. That's interesting. You know what? I could sum this up in 2 words. Spicy peanut. I mean, wow, it does have that trademark Elijah Craig peanut butter, but it's absolutely surrounded. It's absolutely bursting with rye spice all over the place. So you get, so it's almost like if you had a peanut butter and wasabi sandwich into a certain degree, right? You get that spicy, but it's not like, you know, peppery or, you know, hot spicy. It's really just all over your mouth. Just you get that burst, it almost comes up to your nose. But you get that smooth, sweet peanut butter to kind of calm it down, especially at the back end of the palate. Wow. You know what? This is a rye I haven't had in a while. Actually, I don't think any ryes that I had kind of gives this type of feeling. Huh. And then the interesting thing about this is the fact that on the second and third sip, I get a lot more of the green apple. You get a little more of a bright fruit that you get from normal ryes. And so it kind of evolves in your palate from a sweet peanut to extreme spice to now a little bit more of a brighter fruit note. Huh, wow. This is also a very fun and good rye. Wow, this is gonna be a hard choice, wow. All right, so I'm gonna go back and forth for a couple of minutes, and I'll let you know the result in just a couple of seconds. But I wanted to take this time while I go back and forth to thank you for watching my videos. I absolutely appreciate you looking at this thumbnail and then clicking on it and saying, you know what, I wanna watch it till here, because you know, it's really flattering that not only am I doing YouTube, but people are watching me drink whiskey, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, my Patreon YouTube members, you guys keep me going, and you know what? You guys are the best. Wow, that was a fun 15 minutes going back and forth, drinking really 2 high proof ryes. So I got the results. It's all in my head. So let's answer those questions. First, are these worth the money? Are both, or neither, or just one worth the $70 to $75 price point that these should go for? And this is a very easy question. Absolutely both are worth their money. These are 2 really good ryes with really good stats coming in around $70, $75. You usually don't, it's actually really hard to see 10-year anything at these prices, let alone at barrel proof or high proof in this case. And so I think stats alone kind of makes it worth it, but the enjoyment and the uniqueness of these 2 make it a really fun ride. But the most important question, which one is better? If you can only buy one, which one should you get? And when I was going back and forth, I thought it'd be really hard but actually it was pretty easy. Once I drank 2 or 3 sips from each glass, going back and forth, this one first, this one second, then this one first, this one second, became an easy choice. And so that choice is the Sagamore 10-year rye. I thought Elijah Craig would bring it. I thought since they're gonna bring out the barrel proof rye and make it a batches, I thought they were gonna bring their best rye, and it's good. But it's really spicy. I mean, that is a point that makes it hard to drink over and over again. When I was drinking this, the second sip was, oh, fun. Again, peanut, spicy. You get a little bit of green apple. The third, fourth, fifth sip, you start getting a little too much spice. It starts getting overwhelming that you kind of want to put it down. While with this, with that fruit, the tropical fruit, the peach, the apricot, the mangoes. And then you get a little bit of spice to round it out. And at the end, you get that more darker sweetness, the oakiness, the slight bitterness that round it all out. This one made it where I'm just going back. And it was really easy to drink over and over again. And so I think if I judged it by maybe just one sip or the first sip, Elijah Craig might have taken it. But because I had multiple sips and multiple times going back and forth, this one is one that I said, you know what? I want to go back to it over and over again. So the clear winner in tonight's battle is going to be the Sagamore 10-year rye. So leave in the comments, have you had both of these? And if so, which one did you prefer? And if not, after watching my video, which one do you think would fit your palate the best? Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.